You watch the clock stop as your mother breathes her last. 3 years ago, she learned Yeon-woo's brother fell ill, a sickness no doctor could name. She spent every waking hour chasing rumors, scouring alleys, begging strangers for a clue. When the search turned cold, her health waned, fever burning her bones. She clings to the empty bed, whispering his name, until the candle sputters out. Yeon-woo stands over her, fists clenched, tears burning his cheeks. He vows to uncover the truth hidden in the tower, even if the world crumbles beneath him. What comes next changes everything. Yeon-woo leaves the funeral ground, rain slick on his shoes, mind a storm of grief. October 1, 2013 proves the nightmare was reality. Elves, dwarves, orc spirit, troll clan, and dragon shadows crowd a battlefield he never imagined. At its heart rises the sun god's tower, its obelisk whispering of godhood for those who surpass it. Yeon-woo gathers a handful of like-minded strangers, each bearing scars of the lower floors. They pledge to scale the spire together, cutting off old ties to survive the relentless climb. He severs the fragile threads to his past, believing isolation will sharpen his focus. The world reshapes around his ambition, and the tower's wind howls like a warning.
Surpass the obelisk, become a god.
But the mountain watches every move.
Yeon-woo steps into the inner chamber, the air thick with stale incense and the faint hum of ancient runes. He spots the betrayer, a cloaked figure surrounded by elite guards, standing on a raised platform. Yeon-woo's goal sharpens. Avenge his brother by cutting the traitor down. The guards form a wall, their spears glinting, the tower's rule forbidding direct killing without a sanctioned duel. He raises the pocket watch, its hands spinning faster, channeling hidden mana into his blade. The blade flares, searing the nearest guard, who collapses with a scream. The clash draws the betrayer's attention, but Yeon-woo feels his energy draining, a burning fatigue spreading through his limbs.
I finally understand how my brother died and why. I will avenge him, obeying the rules, punish you all.
Now the true war begins. The chapter ends at a breaking point for the ranker who lives a second time. Every answer opened 3 new questions. The final moment leaves everything and everyone on the edge. This channel isn't for casual viewers. It's for the ones who actually care about the story. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari. Yeon-woo stares at the flickering status window the pocket watch projects, desperate to gauge the power the device promised. He wants to know why his body still feels fragile after the awakening. The window flashes cryptic tags, nature cold-blooded, dragon visual prowess, each promising unbreakable logic and the ability to preview opponents' skills. The system also mentions his brother's old contract with the ancient dragon on the first floor, a fragment of the tower's secret. Confused but driven, Yeon-woo memorizes the entries, hoping the hidden data will unlock the strength he needs. The screen blinks, hinting at a deeper link.
You will always exhibit an unrelenting rationale.
What comes next changes everything. The stone corridor opens into a vast chamber lined with pillars, each bearing a faded inscription. Yeon-woo's eyes lock onto a battered journal tucked into a niche, its pages mirroring the sketches his brother left behind. He whispers, "This place matches the journal," and feels a surge of recognition. The system's monotone voice explains that the tutorial measures whether a climber is qualified, a gatekeeper before the real tower. Beyond this arena, the shadows gather, harboring the very men who betrayed Yeon-woo. Determination hardens. He grips his twin knives tighter, ready to carve a path through their ranks. Stay subbed to Manwa with Hari, or you'll miss the climax.
Beyond lies those who hurt Yeon-woo.
Score 88_96 blinks on the display, a meager tally compared to the elite's towering numbers. Yeon-woo feels the sting of failure pressing against his ambition. He knows the clock still ticks, and every enemy he slays could raise his total. He pushes harder, timing his attacks to land combos before the timer expires. His breath ragged, he darts between foes, landing swift blows that spark the scoreboard. The system registers each hit, inching his number upward while the arena's ambient pressure tightens. He senses the gap widening, but refuses to surrender.
But the real problem is already in motion.
Score 88_96.
The chapter ends at a breaking point for the ranker who lives a second time. Every answer opened 3 new questions. The final moment leaves everything and everyone on the edge. The story's about to escalate in a way that changes the entire series. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari and stay tuned. Yeon-woo feels the shock of the stun flare across his vision, but his cold-blooded training forces his muscles to stay still. He clenches his jaw, refusing the panic that crawls up his spine. The pain spikes, yet he whispers that his tolerance grows with each strike. A distant echo of a name, Kellic, flashes, a reminder of the brother he lost. He pushes the numbness aside, eyes narrowing on the next trap. The sting fades, replaced by a thin calm, but the knowledge that every test will push him farther burns in his mind.
I knew this was dangerous.
And that's not even the worst part. The floor erupts in searing flames, scorching the soles of Yeon-woo's boots. A silent glyph etched on the wall reads "Lol," an elder's mark that sends a chill through Yeon-woo's spine. He mutters, "One thing that bugs me is that there is no way to increase my MP stat." The realization fuels a cold grin. If he can't boost MP, he will flood the tower with raw strength, agility, and stamina. He steadies his breathing, visualizing each increment as a stepping stone toward the summit. A sudden burst of laughter erupts from his lips. "Oh, yo, yo, yo." As the thought of outmaneuvering his brother's foes ignites his resolve, he whispers to himself, "Join the Hari squad with a sub before the system crashes." He has no idea what's waiting. The merchant slides a sealed vial across the stall table, its surface swirling with a faint violet hue. He mentions Tiamat's left eye, a relic coveted by top climbers, but declares he cannot offer artifacts yet. Yeon-woo craves power, yet his current cultivation lacks the stability to wield such relics. The merchant blocks him, insisting that mastery of non-physical training precedes any artifact use. Yeon-woo nods, begins a breathing exercise prescribed on the vial's label, feeling his inner flow steadier.
Focus on non-physical training now.
What comes next changes everything. You trade your very soul for power, Yeon-woo, as the merchant demands payment in raw stats. The chapter ends at a breaking point for the ranker who lives a second time. Every answer opened 3 new questions. The final moment leaves everything and everyone on the edge. I spend hours crafting these recaps so you can enjoy them in minutes. If you appreciate that, subscribe to Manwa with Hari. Yeon-woo steps into the ticket booth, eyes locked on the glowing console. He wants a rare bolt set ticket that could let him restart a block without losing progress. The clerk tells him he's the first ever to ask for this specific item, implying the tower rarely grants such favors. The obstacle looms. The ticket is supposed to be impossible to obtain, and many contestants only request shortcuts that cost them dearly. Ignoring the risk, Yeon-woo demands the ticket, and the clerk smiles, confirming the request is incredibly easy, and that he can set the ticket at any location he chooses. The price? A hidden clause that will surface later. He darts into the first corridor, heart pounding against his ribs. The floor tiles flash beneath his feet, each beat faster than the last. The pace accelerates beyond his initial estimate, forcing him to shorten breaths and sharpen reflexes. Muscles burn as he matches the rhythm, fearing a slip could expose him to the tower's relentless guardians. Every forward thrust drains stamina, yet retreat feels impossible. The tower grants no mercy to those who hesitate. He clutches the edge of the wall, eyes scanning for the next opening. He has no idea what's waiting. The tunnel narrows, shadows tightening like a vice. Yeon-woo refuses to slow, knowing any pause invites a plunge to death. The blast awakens a low hum in Yeon-woo's ears, a vibration only a heightened sense can catch. He feels the faintest pulse radiating from the broken sensor, like a heartbeat echoing through stone. Realizing his senses sharpened after the charge, he follows the rhythm, tracing it to 3 concealed cores hidden behind the cracked wall. He slashes through the debris, each strike synchronized with the hum, and disables the cores one by one. The tower's defenses flicker, but the effort drains his remaining endurance, leaving his legs trembling. Noticed when my senses were heightened. What comes next changes everything. You feel your heart drop as the numbers flash before you, a cold dread spreading through your veins. The chapter ends at a breaking point for the ranker who lives a second time. Every answer opened 3 new questions. The final moment leaves everything and everyone on the edge. The deepest lore dives, the highest quality editing. You've found the best. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari. He stands amid a dim arena, copper puppet humming beside him. His fingertips itch, his senses sharpen, letting him trace the faint pulse of the puppet's sensors. Normal players would miss the rhythm, but his heightened awareness pulls the pattern into focus. He realizes the puppet reacts to sensory spikes, not just commands. The revelation fuels his hunger for power, yet the arena's walls loom, promising a sudden strike from unseen rivals. He clamps his jaw, prepares to test the sensor with a quick flick, risking exposure.
I sense the copper puppet's sensor pattern.
Do you know how it works?
And that's not even the worst part. You feel the weight of your brother's legacy pressing on you as the air grows thick with mana. Yeon-woo pauses at the brink of the next block, questioning whether to speak now. We're almost at block. Shouldn't you speak up now that we are here? A voice murmurs, its tone wary. Another chimes, I don't know how you'll think of this, but I am innately able to visually see mana. The speaker's eyes widen. Innately, Yeon-woo raises an eyebrow, sensing the rarity of such talent. Maybe it's a bloodline limit skill? The whisper suggests, hinting at hidden potential. The cost? A sudden jolt of energy tingles his fingertips, marking his bloodline with a faint, glowing sigil. Yeon-woo reaches the training lounge where his former teammates linger, still dressed in white robes. He craves a clear picture of magic, yet the air buzzes with half-spoken theories that tumble over each other. He leans forward, demanding simple terms, while the others shrug, their explanations tangled in jargon. Their willingness to share grants him fragments of understanding. His mind grabs the core idea that magic flows like wind, felt before it's shaped. The price is a lingering doubt that his grasp remains shallow, leaving him hungry for deeper mastery.
They were your teammates. Now they wear white. Where was I? You mentioned a man and a stream.
The chapter ends at a breaking point for the ranker who lives a second time. Every answer opened 3 new questions. The final moment leaves everything and everyone on the edge. 100% pure story, 0% filler. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari.
Yeon-woo staggers after a misstep. His foot throbs with pain as he clutches the stone railing. He knows the tower's lower levels already chew up careless climbers, yet he refuses to quit because the pocket watch in his palm pulses with his brother's lingering will. Every crack in the stairway threatens a deadly fall, but his desperation to uncover the betrayal fuels a grim resolve. He forces his injured leg forward, feeling blood surge, and reaches the next platform, where a faint voice echoes his own scream.
You. My foot.
And that's not even the worst part. Yeon-woo arrives at the 3rd tier's gate, a massive iron door etched with the symbol D8. Yeon-woo spots a pair of climbers arguing near the exit, their voices echoing off the stone. One taunts the other, demanding he join the upcoming raid on the next floor's gate. Yeon-woo sees an opportunity to forge an alliance, offering the pocket watch's secret to anyone willing to fight the Blue and White Legion. The first climber scoffs, calling the idea a bad hobby, and steps away. The second hesitates, eyes flickering between greed and caution, then nods, agreeing to accompany Yeon-woo for a share of the loot. Their uneasy pact fuels the tension. As the gate ahead looms larger, its difficulty rating climbing with each step rightward.
Since when did you start worrying about a bolt?
Head, true.
You stare at the brittle frame of your own flesh, remembering how easily a human body breaks. You desire a sturdy skeleton and muscles that won't tear under pressure. The obstacle lies in your own frailty. No training can forge steel from flesh alone. You decide to follow the hidden method your brother hinted at, a ritual to reshape the body from the inside. You begin by tightening every joint, forcing muscles to adapt, and you accept the burning strain as a necessary price. The cost is relentless pain and the risk of losing your humanity. He has no idea what's waiting.
The chapter ends at a breaking point for the ranker who lives a second time. Every answer opened 3 new questions. The final moment leaves everything and everyone on the edge. Leveling up has never looked this good. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari. Yeon-woo steps into the moss-covered cavern of the tower, the pocket watch ticking against his chest. He spots a red centipede whose blind eyes cling to the white moss, its other senses honed to hunt. Yeon-woo's goal is to clear the hidden frost and fire, quest before the monsters escape, and upset the tower's fragile ecosystem. The centipede darts faster than his blade, forcing him to anticipate its moves. He lunges, using the watch's rhythm to time a precise strike that shreds a limb, opening a narrow path forward. And that's not even the worst part. Yeon-woo reaches a crystalline wall that blocks the tunnel, its surface as hard as stone. Yeon-woo channels the anguish into a new skill, physical resistance. He aims to become unbreakable, but his bruised body protests each pulse of power. He concentrates, feeling muscles tighten, his will turning iron. A faint barrier flares around him, dampening the next blow that would have shattered his spine. His heart pounds, breath steadies, and the pain recedes for a heartbeat. The cost is mental fatigue, leaving fewer thoughts for offense. The answer is already too late.
Your will is futile.
Activating the will to fight, Yeon-woo summons inner fire, his aura igniting with relentless energy. He wants to push beyond his injuries, yet his battered limbs scream for relief. A tall figure steps forward, arms crossed, claiming he recruited the finest soldiers for the tower's cause. He wants obedience, but his pride blinds him to the fact that his men suffer under Arung Dan's watchful eye. The guard's refusal to hand over the food proves the tower's hierarchy is broken. He snarls, pointing to the white-masked operative lurking in the shadows, suggesting contempt for anyone daring to defy him. The revelation that a masked rival pulls strings forces Yeon-woo to reconsider every ally he's trusted.
I thought recruited some fine men.
Yeon-woo narrows his eyes, the weight of the pocket watch ticking against his palm. He wants the masked conspirator found before more sabotage strikes. The chapter ends at a breaking point for the ranker who lives a second time. Every answer opened 3 new questions. The final moment leaves everything and everyone on the edge. I promise I'll make the next recap as insane as this one. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari. Yeon-woo clenches the pocket watch, feeling the red gong's heart pulse inside his throat. He forces it to merge with the white moss coating his skin, hoping the 2 essences will heal his shattered ribs. The strange synergy spreads, knitting broken bones together faster than any surgeon could. He watches his skeleton glow, each fracture sealing into a steel-like fiber. The pain fades, replaced by a cold confidence that his body can now bear the tower's crushing weight. Yet the unfamiliar power leaves a lingering emptiness, as if something vital slips away.
Heart of red gong ingested.
And that's not even the worst part. You trust a hidden corridor to grant you power.
Yeon-woo tallies his kills, a grim ledger flashing monsters hunted. Each defeat sharpens his reflexes, and the endless grind begins to feel like a routine. He extracts the teeth and claws of the sonic bats, studying their vibration-induced edges. The more he practices, the more the tower's harsh rhythm becomes second nature. Yet every successful hunt drains his stamina, and the lingering fatigue threatens to crack his resolve. The hidden cost is a growing dependence on the bat parts to fuel his combat will. He has no idea what's waiting. Yeon-woo mixes white moss with the red toxic blood, measuring the exact ratio he memorized from his brother's notes.
Beyond the broken stone, a cavernous tunnel swarms with blue-hued army ants, forming a living barricade. Yeon-woo's immediate goal is to carve a path forward, but the insect mass presses like a tide, blocking every step. He lifts the Bathory sword, channels its dark resonance,
and slams the blade into the ground, unleashing a concussive blast that erupts through the tunnel. The explosion shreds dozens of ants, sending bodies and ash scattering. The tower's internal monitor registers the damage, flashing casualty numbers across the stone.
You have successfully blown up the ant tunnel. What comes next changes everything.
The dust settles and Yeon-woo surveys the carnage, counting twisted bodies and smoldering husks. The chapter ends at a breaking point for the ranker who lives a second time. Every answer opened 3 new questions. The final moment leaves everything and everyone on the edge. When the anime adaptation gets announced, you'll already know the whole story. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari.
You watch the tunnel walls pulse as the Queen Blue Army ant bursts from the darkness, its massive mandibles clicking. Yeon-woo's breath hitches. His brother's pocket watch ticks louder in his palm, reminding him why he fights. He needs a way out before the hive collapses, but the queen blocks every path. He darts toward the nearest alcove, slashing at the ant's legs with his blade forged from tower crystals. The monster recoils, exposing a faint outline in the stone. Yeon-woo scrambles through the crack, blood mixing with dust. And that's not even the worst part. Yeon-woo pauses, heart pounding, scanning the dim corridor for an exit.
Yeon-woo discovers that Batori's vampiric dagger is not a simple blade, but a skill of terrifying difficulty. He wants to understand its true nature before the seal breaks. The stone walls pulse with the story of a greedy monarch who, even after death, sealed the dagger's full power to hand it to a worthy successor. He feels the weight of centuries pressing on his shoulders, realizing the weapon's legacy is bound to blood and ambition. He steadies his breath, preparing to break the seal and claim the hidden strength. The ancient seal glows faintly, hinting that his touch may be enough to shatter it. Yeon-woo and his companions stand at the edge of a twisted corridor, doubts crackling between them. The companion insists the path is wrong, recalling warnings about hidden traps that could seal their progress. Yeon-woo clenches his fist, refusing to retreat, convinced the queen's loot lies beyond this turn. He pushes forward, forcing the group deeper, while the walls close in, echoing their uncertainty. The companion mutters a promise to hunt relentlessly, spurring Yeon-woo onward despite the looming dread. A faint glow flickers ahead, hinting at the treasure that fuels their resolve.
Are we sure this is the right place? If you don't trust me, should we turn back?
And that's not even the worst part. The chapter ends at a breaking point for the ranker who lives a second time. Every answer opened 3 new questions. The final moment leaves everything and everyone on the edge. You ask for the best, I deliver. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari. You watch the brown-scaled salamander crumble under your blade. Yeon-woo finishes the hunt, counts the single monster among 100, and feels the quest's final tick light up. He pulls the fire crystal and the frost crest together, their heat and chill mingling in his palm. The tower system grants him a new, reinforced anatomy, heart wrapped in flame, skin cloaked in ice. He craves the power to breach the tower's upper floors. The only barrier is his fragile human frame. The upgrade fuses fire and frost, sealing his wounds before they even form.
New body activated.
And that's not even the worst part. The status screen flickers, highlighting the reinforced anatomy tag.
Yeon-woo hears the opponent's breath hitch, realizing the chase may have been misread. If you tracked me without cause, I doubt your good intentions. The challenger mutters, eyes darting. Yeon-woo's anger flares. He had expected an outright fight, not a confession. The opponent raises a hand, saying, I'm sorry. I think we didn't think this through. The moment of apology hangs heavy, offering a sliver of peace. Yeon-woo presses, so, the reason why you tracked me down? The dialogue opens a narrow path, but every word costs trust. But the real problem is already in motion.
If you tracked me without cause, I doubt your good intentions. I'm sorry, I think we didn't think this through.
The conversation shifts to the dreaded lizard King Harga, ruler of the lair's outer ruins. Both men want the crown, yet they fear Harga's savage temper, which has shredded entire raids. Their goal narrows to a single prize, but the king's wrath blocks every approach. Yeon-woo watches their shoulders tense, then steps closer, suggesting a diversion that might calm the beast. The taller one scoffs, claiming the crown's boost to commanding presence is useless to him. Still, he admits the reward could be split, leaving a fragment for Yeon-woo's use. The cost: they must survive Harga's next outburst together.
Harga's temper kills all who enter. I don't need the crown's power.
The chapter ends at a breaking point for the ranker who lives a second time. Every answer opened 3 new questions. The final moment leaves everything and everyone on the edge. You got the recap, now I need the sub. Let's make a deal. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari. You feel the rush of breaking the black route alone, the world flickering as the system logs your victory. Yeon-woo stands amid shattered code, chest heaving, eyes scanning the empty corridor. The ancient AI voice crackles, announcing a human has breached the tower's defenses. The commander's avatar materializes, jaw clenched, demanding a new challenger. Yeon-woo's pulse spikes. He knows the tower's wrath is coming. He clenches the pocket watch his brother left, feeling its cold weight. The commander raises a weapon, ready to test the newcomer.
You are stronger than any soldier.
What comes next changes everything. Yeon-woo steps onto the floating island, the air thin and electric. Yeon-woo meets a council of investigators, faces grim. They admit they lack intel on the goon, yet a witness says 2 men matching Kane and Doyle vanished into the block. The group suspects the duo scouted the hidden piece. Frustration rises as stakes climb. Suddenly, a leader snarls, "Con, Doyle, you pieces of garbage." The insult fuels Yeon-woo's resolve to outmatch them. He tightens his grip on the pocket watch, its pulse syncing with his own. Stay subbed to Manwa with Hari, or you'll miss the climax.
Con, Doyle, you pieces of garbage.
He has no idea what's waiting.
You feel the panic rise as swords flash in the moonlight, cutting the night's silence. Yeon-woo's heart pounds. He needs to protect the camp and survive the ambush. The enemy's sudden appearance and the fact they brandish blades right in front of him blocks any chance of a quiet retreat. He shouts orders, urging everyone to scatter, fearing that staying together will invite a slaughter. The group erupts into chaos, each runner darting toward the shadows, while Yeon-woo watches the enemy's leader grin, knowing the foe somehow learned his exact location. They're split, buying precious seconds, but the danger multiplies.
They dare to draw swords in front of me.
He has no idea what's waiting.
The chapter ends at a breaking point for the ranker who lives a second time. Every answer opened 3 new questions. The final moment leaves everything and everyone on the edge. The abyss is staring back. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari.
The thieves masquerade as token collectors, shouting, "Give us the token," to lure desperate players. While the victims scramble, the thieves slip a hand into each bag, snatching every artifact and piece of gear. They regroup in a shadowed alley, sorting the loot and grafting the relics onto their weapons. Their power spikes, but the stolen wealth leaves the victims crippled and the tower's watchful eyes twitching. Their rise fuels greed, and a silent alarm begins to pulse through the tower's lower floors. A silent partner shadows the upper-ranked duo, Con and Doyle, moving between battles like a ghost.
You feel the weight of destiny as you plot the final push toward the succession block, the last place to amass massive karma. The whispers speak of a looming figure, that man, who will appear and trigger a surge in magical power, the key to completing the succession ritual. Yet the Lizardman King still roams, a massive reptilian tyrant whose defeat will unlock the final seal. Every step forward tightens the knot in your gut, knowing that only after his head falls can the ritual proceed. He has no idea what's waiting.
Block, my last chance for massive karma. That man will show up here soon. His power will boost my magic for succession.
Yeon-woo studies the floor, noticing only tracks leading deeper, none pointing outward. He realizes the path serves as a one-way trap, forcing anyone inside to keep moving forward. The team follows his gaze, seeing a faint trail of disturbed earth that ends at a dark smear. He identifies a claw-marked stone, the imprint of a lizard man dragging a body across the ground. The squad pieces together the horror. The reptile used a dead hunter as bait to lure fresh prey. Their fear sharpens, but their resolve hardens as they decide to press onward despite the deception. But the real problem is already in motion. The party pauses at the dead end, the silence pressing like stone. The chapter ends at a breaking point for the ranker who lives a second time. Every answer opened 3 new questions. The final moment leaves everything and everyone on the edge. High-quality editing, perfect pacing, 0 filler. If I delivered, hit subscribe on Manwa with Hari. The pocket watch glints as Yeon-woo grips it, the metal cold against his palm. He feels the tower's pulse echo in his chest, each tick a reminder of his brother's betrayal. The ruined courtyard where their clan once trained, the broken banners whispering loss. Determination flares. He will climb the tower of the sun god and expose the traitors. He tightens his fists, the weight of his brother's secrets fueling his stride toward the looming entrance. Shadows shift, and a distant roar hints at the guardians waiting inside. And that's not even the worst part. Yeon-woo meets Kane and is still near the tower's outer gate. He wants intel about the lair called Harga NSL Air. Yeon-woo pauses, sweat dripping, heart pounding from the relentless assault. He needs to adapt, find a weakness in the Lizardman King's armor before his stamina runs out. The swamp's toxins seep into his skin, slowing his movements, while the king's minions circle tighter. He flips a hidden blade from his coat, aiming for the creature's vulnerable throat. Instill shouts a warning, but Yeon-woo ignores, focusing on the split-second opening. He thrusts, the blade biting into scale, drawing thick blood. The Lizardman King recoils, a howl echoing through the murk.
This is new for me, it's not.
He has no idea what's waiting. The Lizardman King roars, fury burning brighter, and summons a vortex of venomous wind.
Khan's shoulders slump as the argument sharpens, his priority flashing in his mind like a warning beacon. The younger fighter's voice cracks, urging restraint, while another steps forward, ready to walk away if the plan shifts. The room trembles with the clash of duty versus compassion, each heartbeat louder than the last. Yeon-woo watches the split, calculating the cost of defiance. He steadies his grip on the watch, aware that any hesitation fuels the tower's relentless grind.
Calm yourself and remember your priority.
If you still want to act on your own judgment, then I quit this plan.
The choice looms, and the tower's gears begin to turn faster.
The chapter ends at a breaking point for the ranker who lives a second time. Every answer opened 3 new questions. The final moment leaves everything and everyone on the edge. It takes a real Manhwa veteran to appreciate this level of detail. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari. The cavern erupts with a guttural roar. The beast guards a nest of glowing eggs, its claws digging into the stone. It sees the invading party and snarls, "Humans, how dare you enter my lair?" Its eyes flick to the trembling child in the front, then back to the weapon-clad soldiers. "My babies! I must see my babies!" The intruders tighten their grips, refusing to retreat. The monster lunges, teeth snapping, while the leader shoves forward, demanding the hatchlings. Blood splatters the floor, and the creature's fury fuels the clash. And that's not even the worst part.
Humans! How dare you enter my lair?
A narrow tunnel echoes with frantic shouts. Kane, a scarred veteran, grabs the tarnished crown from the altar, eyes flicking to the looming silhouette of Khan waiting outside. He needs the crown to unlock the tower's final gate. But the enemy patrol circles, weapons raised. He signals the squad, urging them to move faster, while his pulse races to keep the crown from slipping. The group sprints toward the exit, the crown clutched tight, but a stray arrow grazes Kane's side, staining the metal with blood.
Kane, go get the crown. We have to hurry and meet Khan outside. Finally, 1,301 you humans.
Join the Hari squad with a sub before the system crashes, he thinks, as the tower trembles.
The monster's roar dies, leaving a hollow echo that rattles the stone walls. Yeon-woo staggers back, blood seeping from his wrist. The pocket watch cracked open, its gears spilling a faint blue glow onto the floor. The tower's structure shudders, cracks spider across the ceiling, and a hidden doorway slides open beneath the chaos. Light pours from the gap,
revealing a vaulted chamber lined with ancient glyphs that pulse with the same rhythm as the broken watch. Yeon-woo's breath catches. The symbols spell his brother's name, hinting at a secret buried deep in the tower's heart. What comes next changes everything. The chapter ends at a breaking point for the ranker who lives a second time. Every answer opened 3 new questions. The final moment leaves everything and everyone on the edge. When the system gives you a hidden quest, you take it. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari. Yeon-woo and his 2 comrades charge into the arena where the Sun God's tower guard awaits. Their goal: break the guard's shield before it reforms. The guard's aura pulses, blocking their approach and forcing them to dodge. Yeon-woo shouts his allies' names, his voice cracking the stale air. The trio syncs their steps, each strike feeding the next. Their blades clash, sparks scattering, and the guard staggers, its shield cracking. The cost: their stamina drains, and a deep wound opens on Yeon-woo's side.
Con. Doyle. Mon. Gaia. Oh.
And that's not even the worst part. The guard recovers, eyes blazing, demanding surrender. Yeon-woo wants to keep fighting, to prove his brother's legacy. The system rewrites Yeon-woo's skill tree, replacing the volatile heat wave with a nascent flame infusion. The update lists a 0% proficiency, meaning the fire will flare only when he learns to channel it. The description notes that the new ability is a broken fragment of Hargon's innate power, able to imbue any weapon with adjustable temperature. Yeon-woo clenches his fist, planning to test the blaze later, but a sudden shout from Kane pierces the quiet, reminding him that the tower's dangers never pause. The cost is another delay in mastering his fire.
Skill Heatwave changed to Flame Infusion. Flame Infusion % proficiency, fire temperature adjustable.
Kane. Hung.
He has no idea what's waiting.
The wounded group huddles under the broken arch, their faces pale. Their immediate goal is to placate the commander who watches them with narrowed eyes. Pride blocks the apology. Each soldier fears appearing weak. Yeon-woo steps forward, bowing low, voice shaking. "I am sorry, sir. Forgive my rudeness." The commander snarls. "The weak always bend to the strong." A shout erupts. "Dirty traitors!" As enemies close in. The squad scrambles, shields raised, just as a wave of foes crashes toward them. Their desperate plea buys a moment, but the swarm threatens to drown them.
The weak will always bend to the strong.
He has no idea what's waiting.
The chapter ends at a breaking point for the ranker who lives a second time. Every answer opened 3 new questions. The final moment leaves everything and everyone on the edge. You got lucky finding this video. Don't rely on luck twice. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari. You feel the weight of desperation as the lizard men loot your supplies. The group huddles, eyes darting between the ruined camp and the looming night. Their goal: find food and equipment before darkness. The obstacle: the lizard men patrol, ready to strike any stray. Kane snarls, demanding a plan, while Mani mutters about loyalty. They scramble, each clutching whatever they can salvage, but the cold wind bites their throats. Their action narrows the options. They agree to stay put and devise a scheme rather than flee empty-handed. The consequence: morale hangs by a thread, and every heartbeat could be their last. And that's not even the worst part. "Look, boss, the lizard men took all our stuff." Mani studies the glowing stones, noting their purity levels. He remarks, "Magic stones like that are easy to get if you say so." Harga's lair, he continues, gave fewer rewards, so the system compensated with ownership rights. He ponders, the tower system should reward achievement, not scarcity. Their debate turns to the minor deposit beneath Harga's air, rich with high-grade stones, a vital conduit for mana. The conversation reveals a loophole that could flood the market with power. He has no idea what's waiting.
Magic stones like that are easy to get, if you say so. Harga's lair gave fewer rewards, so ownership compensates. The tower's system should reward achievement, not scarcity.
You feel the weight of every token clutched in Yeon-woo's fist, each one a promise of ascent. He asks the looming figure, "What are you going to do now?" The figure replies, "Where will you head after this?" The leaderboard, his rank rose from to a dizzying, but the top still towers with points far beyond his reach. First place holds, second, third. The gap fuels his frustration. He cannot ignore the looming war whispering through the stone market. Determined, he vows to close the chasm, even if it means risking everything.
War drives us all forward.
He still doesn't know which path leads to the tower's summit.
The chapter ends at a breaking point for the ranker who lives a second time. Every answer opened 3 new questions. The final moment leaves everything and everyone on the edge. We don't just read the action, we read the lore. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari and dive deep.
Yeon-woo grips the pocket watch his brother left behind, the cold metal echoing the betrayal that ended his life in the Tower of the Sun God. The watch flashes a map of the lower floors, a promise that his brother's secrets still live. A group of strangers, Tony, Lupin, Sammy, and Jules, stand nearby, their voices buzzing about a tutorial raid. They point at the entry and ask if he will join. Yeon-woo feels the weight of his promise, the need to climb and avenge, but also the urge to stay hidden. He steps forward, eyes locked on the gate.
Join us, we survive together.
What comes next could shatter his fragile resolve.
A figure in a stark white mask fixes Yeon-woo with eyes that seem to pierce his thoughts, as if reading every hidden intent. Yeon-woo wants to press forward, but the masked presence, identified as Sir Khan, raises concerns about the group's fatigue. He asks permission to slow the march, citing exhaustion and a need for a restroom break. The request meets a harsh rebuke. "I can't go on longer. Monsters will kill us if we leave." The tension spikes, forcing Yeon-woo to weigh the risk of lingering against the certainty of death outside. Their choice will dictate whether the party survives the next trial. He has no idea what's waiting. The players scramble toward a broken wall, hoping the debris will shield them. Their goal is to regroup and press forward, but a snarling opponent blocks the path, brandishing a stolen relic. Yeon-woo senses the danger, his breath quickening as the enemy taunts the crowd. He lunges, snatching the relic and hurling it into the crowd, causing panic. The sudden loss of the prize forces the attackers to retreat, but the chaos leaves several wounded behind. The cost is high. A teammate collapses, blood soaking the stone.
Where did you get that? This is why it doesn't last. They even killed normal players. Who the hell are they?
The battlefield quiets, yet the true threat still lurks in the shadows. The chapter ends at a breaking point for the ranker who lives a second time. Every answer opened 3 new questions. The final moment leaves everything and everyone on the edge. Not everyone finds recaps this good, but you did. Protect that advantage. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari. Yeon-woo wakes inside the tower's second life chamber, the pocket watch ticking against his palm. The voice of the tower system flashes a list. Lupin, Black Edisu, Sammy, names he never heard. He learns the thrones atop the tower govern a human farm where captured civilians are forced to labor. A squad of scavengers circles the perimeter, their silhouettes darker than ordinary bandits. Yeon-woo feels the weight of a hidden war pressing on his chest. He decides to probe the farm's hierarchy, hoping the clues will guide his revenge.
Scavengers aren't just bandits.
And that's not even the worst part. As Yeon-woo stalks the farm's shadowed paths, he spots a ragged group feigning injury, pleading for aid.
The hidden corridor opens into a dim hall lined with banners of the Rang clan, the group that promised a fair tutorial. Yeon-woo's eyes widen as he mutters, "Where the hell are the people from Rang? They were policing everything, saying they wanted fairness. So why does chaos erupt now?" A faint voice replies, "I see," confirming the presence of a hidden observer. Suddenly, a figure steps forward, brandishing a crimson blade, shouting, "Kane!" The newcomer reveals himself as Kane, a former Rang enforcer turned rogue, intent on seizing the tower's power. Yeon-woo grips his watch tighter, ready for the clash. He has no idea what's waiting. The group's tension spikes as the newest member, a scarred veteran, steps forward. He declares his intention to never place trust in anyone, because years of betrayal in the tower have hardened his heart. His blunt statement collides with the lingering hope that their fragile coalition could survive. The others watch, feeling the sting of being reduced to mere tools. Their shared goal of climbing higher slips as hurtful words echo, and the veterans' confession forces each member to confront the cold reality that friendship never existed between them. The cost is a palpable chill that settles over the campfire.
I never planned on trusting anyone. From the tower from the beginning, which is why our team.
The chapter ends at a breaking point for the ranker who lives a second time. Every answer opened 3 new questions. The final moment leaves everything and everyone on the edge. Blood is thicker than water, but revenge is sweeter. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari. You trusted that man for years. Every handshake was a performance. Yeon-woo clutches the pocket watch his brother left behind, the ticking echoing his shattered heart. He wants answers, how his brother died and why the Tower of the Sun God betrayed him. The watch flashes a memory of a masked betrayer, a blade flashing in the tower's highest chamber. The image burns his grief into resolve, but the tower's sealed gate blocks his path. He slams the watch against the stone, shattering the seal with a burst of lingering chi. The gate cracks open, but his sorrow costs him his calm. What comes next changes everything.
This was for the best.
Reports flood his mind. Squad 2 falls, their failure traced to a hidden enemy. He realizes his decision to trust their promise cost Hargan's precious resource. Guilt spikes as he mutters an apology to his superior, the weight of lost comrades pressing his chest. He snaps to command, ordering Squad 1 to mobilize, his voice sharp despite the chaos. A subordinate stumbles over the code name Salad 1, a nervous whisper that betrays the tension. The elite unit readies, steel gleaming, while the battlefield still smells of fresh blood. He has no idea what's waiting. Squad 1 forms, each member bearing the Azure Sword Guild seal, their training sharp as blades. They finally spot a stone platform that matches the description of the hunter's house, but the entrance yawns far above the cliffs. The group scrambles to find a ladder, yet the cliffside offers no foothold. Frustration spikes as they realize the structure is out of reach. A hushed voice mentions an ally who knows the location of the hidden piece called Akash, described as a snake that aids their quest. Their new aim shifts to locating that person before the tower's guards notice their delay. The urgency fuels a frantic search along the ridge.
Found it. But they no reach.
But the real problem is already in motion. The chapter ends at a breaking point for the ranker who lives a second time. Every answer opened 3 new questions. The final moment leaves everything and everyone on the edge. Don't settle for mediocre robotic recaps. Subscribe to Manwa with Hari for cinematic storytelling.